ladies and gentlemen. This is Andrew Snort with Creative Community Solutions. And as you know, we get an opportunity to cover some great events and great people across the board. Every once in a while, we get a chance to do some great video chats with some great people. And I'm so excited to be able to spend a little bit of time with, I tell you what, entrepreneur, concerned citizen, author, advocate. I know I'm leaving a few things out, which is why we're talking with her. So I want our guest to introduce herself straight from New Jersey. So of course it's great to chop it up with people from the home state.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you, Andrew, for having me on your program, number one. My name is Missouri from New Jersey. That's a little bit of a tagline, right? Missouri from New Jersey. And I am a producer, author, entrepreneur. We're doing some amazing things here in New Jersey. 2012, we actually launched our entertainment production company, and our first off-Broadway show, which is the show A Cancer Survivor's Story, which tells a story about my life as a mother, entrepreneur, a cancer survivor, friendship, all of the above. We have been doing this show now going into our 10th year next year. Believe it or not, it'll be our 10th anniversary. And the show is a theatrical production that fuses the art of style and entertainment. And it tells a wonderful story through storytelling, dancing, singing, acting, all the above. It really, truly touches every visceral emotion. And we're so excited to have the opportunity to share on your platform, because we truly believe that this show should be shown global. We're hoping to take the show to Broadway at some point. We were on point right before the pandemic hit. 2019, we had given our first, sold out production. Since we started, we had over 600 people in the audience. And when the show was over, we had, producers coming up to us, and, we walked out of there with like 7 bookings. So we were on our way, like 7 bookings for a full show. So we were so excited because, you put your life into your dreams, and you believe so heartily in everything that you're doing. And sometimes you wonder, when is it going to happen, and 2019, we were literally on our way, and then COVID hit. And obviously everything shut down, but it gave me an opportunity to do some great things. And we're just keeping it moving. We're just keeping it moving.
And that's amazing, because like a lot of people, when 2020 hit, obviously it made people pump their brakes. I want to revisit the production and its tie-in with the book. And I want to ask you, what led you to pursuing that particular topic, those particular themes, not only through the lens of production, but eventually for your book?
Yeah, so when I was 10 years old, my mom gave me my first Barbie doll for Christmas, and 1965. And at the time, we didn't know that Barbie had a wardrobe. I thought she only came with the clothes on her back, and and I thought it was just so boring that I couldn't change her clothes. So my mom sewed, so I would take remnants of her fabric, and I made my Barbie a complete wardrobe, from fur muffs to pajamas, everything. And I proceeded to give my mom a cardboard runway fashion show on her dining room table. And I played her gospel music in the background because she loved gospel. And after the show, with my Barbie walking down the runway and me holding her, I told my mom, I said, one day I'm gonna do a big show. And she patted me on the head and said, sure you will, child, sure you will. And the second time she patted my head, I felt like electricity going through my body, like one day I'm really going to do this. And then life happened, I grew up, and I steered in the way of fashion, going into my teens, into my 20s, and I won designer competitions, to go into Paris and on and on and on. It was just an exciting time for me. And I got married and, had children, and life just really happened. And I took my dreams and I put them on hold. I actually put my dreams on the back burner to live someone else's dreams. And life continued to happen. And shortly thereafter, our 5th year being married, we divorced. And, it was devastating to do that because I really didn't know who I was at that point. I had my own dreams and I put them on the back burner, and then I was living someone else's dreams. And then shortly thereafter that, I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer, and which was devastating because I was primarily healthy. I ate good. I had my regular checkups and everything, and there was, nothing to say that this was going to be my fate. And after going through the process of, asking God, why me, and pity parties and all the things that you go through when this happens to you, which is devastating to anyone, I was sitting in my chemo chair talking with one of the social workers in the hospital, and she was telling me that they provide like gift cards to help homeless women. And we know that there are homeless people in the world. We all know that. But I never put the two together, like you would be homeless with cancer in a woman. Like I couldn't, it didn't register to me that you could actually be that, like no one would help you. So I went to work, as I was going through chemo, I was working, helping other people. That's just what I do. But I was sitting in my chemo chair one afternoon, and I asked myself the question, if I had all the money in the world, what would I be doing with my life? What would I be doing? I was clear at that point that I was going to be a survivor. But what would I do? Would I go back to what I was doing, or was there something else that God wanted me to do? And my little, 10-year-old self, 9-year-old self spoke to me in my ear and said, remember you said you was going to do that big show? And in that moment, in that very moment, Styletainment was born. But when I got, like, I could take something so beautiful as fashion to bring attention to something as ugly as cancer, it was a no-brainer. And on that day, Styletainment was born. I went through chemo for a whole year and a half, and all the time working on this show. My daughter was in college at the time, and I knew if there was anyone that could actually choreograph my show the way I wanted it choreographed, it was going to be my little mini me, my daughter. And so she would come home from Hampton on the weekend, and we would go over everything. And everything just came together. It was like divine intervention. Like I was back. I was, back on purpose. I had found myself again. I found my, my life again. And it was everything just happened so simultaneously. We went from, not knowing where the money was going to come from to do the show, to the money just showing up. We did castings in New York City and got an incredible cast of young men and women. And on September 2012, we premiered our first show, and it was spectacular, but it wasn't where I wanted it to be. I really needed to see if we had something, if we could do a show that could touch every visible emotion, bring awareness to the desperate need to support women going through cancer and homeless, inspiring people to live their dreams now, no matter how long it takes you, even 47 years later, still living your dreams. If we could do that, then we had something. And directly after our first premiere show, we were booked for another show. And I said, we have something here. And we didn't even have like all the costumes in place. Like we did what we could do, but over time we have built it out and built it out. And in 2017, we had everything. We had all the costumes, we had the animation backdrop, we had a superb cast. musical director, host, like everything was in place. And we gave our first full big show at SoPac in South Orange, New Jersey. And we haven't stopped, since until the pandemic hit.
Well, I tell you what, I'm glad you walked through, that whole part of your journey from, the personal testimony. And one of the things I kept hearing was, even though, quote, it took a little bit of time, you still got there. And even, quote, everything wasn't in place, it didn't make it less effective or less impactful. So even though I know the book and the production tap into other themes, but the whole delays don't mean defeat, the power of, positive thinking, persistence, weathering storms, working with what you have and maximizing it. There's so many, I'll say, add-on themes on top of what you discussed, that it's like, it's just a really good feeling. It's a really good vibe, and it's really positive energy. And even with, the delays due to the pandemic, you're still being proactive in seeing where are other spaces we can be. And we know the spaces that we've been have been able to speak to and speak with people. And maybe, and I know, like in writing, and that's whether, for a book or a play, the ultimate importance of finding your voice. Not only have you found yours, I'm not going to say you lost it, but it's more that you're amplifying your voice. And in doing that, you're helping other people. So there's so many positive takeaways from the work.
And it was really, really, really important for me to be conscious of what was happening with this pandemic. It was truly an opportunity. I think it was an opportunity for all of us to do something. And for me, because I knew without a shadow of a doubt that this vision for Styletainment was given to me by Spirit. I knew that what I was doing was on point. And then to go from being on such a high 2019, walking out the door with 7 bookings, and then the pandemic hitting, I looked up to the sky and I said, okay, God, what now? What now? And Spirit spoke and said, finish the book. And so I went to work on finishing, my book with which actually is the first edition, my book, Styletainment, My Journey to Styletainment, A Life Stitched Together. And then, thinking I only had one book, I actually had written a second book. So the first book is really about my story. It tells about my life, my childhood, a little bit of my childhood coming into my story, and how I got to Styletainment, which is, I tell you, it is one of the most therapeutic things you could do, I believe, because it's so very healing, writing about yourself, because you really do play like 3 different characters. You're the person that the story's about, and then you're the person writing the story, and then you're the person reviewing the story. So you get to really see how the parts that you played in your life, and you get to heal things, because you get to see, like, I fully participated, and here's what I did, and here's what I could have done differently. And it becomes such a freeing opportunity for you to really look at life differently, and to really understand, how you created it, and then how you can create something else, and it's just such an interesting process. I encourage everyone to, even if you're not thinking about, writing a book, putting it in a book form and sharing it, but, write your story, keep a journal. It's so healing. I was able to go back to, my journal and pull some information, but it's like you're reading it, and it's just so interesting that you obviously, I wrote in my journal all the things that happened, but when you go back and read it, it's like, wow, I did that, or did that really happen? And it's just such a healing thing. I mean, I'm so blessed to have amazing people in my life that share stories in my book as well. And it's just so touching and emotional to read the stories that they have written, about me, which I think is just so incredible because you get to see how people see you. You know what I mean? With them writing about you, you see how they see you. And some of it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I need to step it up. you know,
But you know what? In listening to this portion, the two things that come to mind, creative and cathartic. Is creative because you're tapping into those gifts and talents and abilities that you're aware of. And when other people make observations, it's kind of like, I didn't know that I had that in me. Yeah. And that continues to push you constructively to seek out more, to do more, to be like, what else is on the horizon? And it's cathartic because, especially when you look back, it's a checkpoint to see how far you've come, what you've learned along the way, what you've been able to apply. And then the cool thing is, I know that there's more on the horizon. So what are those new opportunities that are out there? What are those growth opportunities through production? What are those growth opportunities, professionally, community-wise, personally? And it's always like you're continuing to grow, evolve, etc. And you sharing
also the lives that you touch, the people that you don't even know that they're paying attention or that you inspire them. There's the lives that you touch, that you touch them to move their lives forward just from living your own life. And until you actually read it, you're not even conscious of some of it. Some of it you are because they're family, and some of it you're not. And reading it for me was so uplifting and inspiring for me to continue doing what I'm doing. It was confirmation that I was on the right path, and all I need to do is just continue to have faith in what I'm doing, surround myself with the right people that really does believe in me, and continue to inspire the world. And that's what Styletainment is really about. It's not just about me. There's no possible way that I could do this alone. We're talking about a cast of 22 individuals, my daughter choreographing the show, my son and my grandson videotaping, photographing the show, archiving everything so that we can have, something to write a book. The amazing young ladies and young men that are part of our cast, that were there from the beginning, and they simply do it because they love Styletainment, and they simply do it because they understand and want, the vision of supporting homeless women with cancer to become a real thing. I mean, one day we'd really like to open a place called Home that can house these women, so that they can heal their bodies, without worrying about a PSC&G bill or anything. We just take care of them while they're going through chemo and help them get back to productive lives. I mean, one day that will be a real dream come true. And these, talented cast members that we have, they understand that, and that's why they stay on board. So to be inspiring and to be inspired, by them, it's just something that I hope that everyone gets to experience in life. We are really onto something, and Styletainment is not just a production company. It's really something that touches every visceral emotion, and it brings alive a community of people that know that one day, I'm going to do that. I'm going to write the book. I'm going to travel the world, or whatever your visions are. You really do leave the show wanting to go do that. And that is truly inspiration.
Well, I tell you what, you have shared a lot about the creative process, the personal journey, the constructive takeaways, and really the engaging and empowering takeaways. So as we get ready to wind down, what are the last two things? What are the best ways for people to stay connected and engaged and being supportive of what you do. And second thing is, if people don't remember anything else about our talk, which I hope people are taking notes, if they don't remember anything else about what we've talked about today, what's one takeaway that you want to leave with people that they can use for just about anything? So let's wind down with those two.
Yeah. So, I say this to everybody, and I mean this from my heart, that no matter who comes, who stays, who leaves, or who goes in our lives, what's most important is that you never, ever, ever give up on you, because you are in control of your life. You make it happen. I don't care who stays, who leaves, who goes. You stay focused on your dreams, and they will come true. I am living proof. I am truly the poster child for never giving up. Here we are 47 years later. We produce a dream that I had when I was 9, 10 years old, 47 years later, because I didn't give up. So don't ever give up on you, no matter what. And to stay in touch with us, we have several ways that you could do that. You can go to styletainment.com, and that's our website. You can see our trailers, you can meet the cast, it's a host of information on there. You can book our show, you can learn where you can see our show, host of information. If you're interested in purchasing my books, you can go to my journey to styletainment.com, and everything's there. You can purchase a book, you can read my bio, you can learn a little bit more about my family. We're truly, truly an open book. And on Instagram, we're at Styletainment. Facebook, MIssouri Styletainment, Missouri with a ZZ, Styletainment. And everything is there. If you Google Styletainment, a bunch of stuff will come up. We have a YouTube channel, Twitter, all the above. Just put Styletainment, STYLE, T as in Tom, AINMENT, and you will see all the work that we have done and the work that we are working on doing. And lastly, I just want to let everyone know that we do have an event coming up on December the 11th. It's our Black Tie Gala. It's going to be fabulous, beyond measure. When you go to styletainment.com, you'll see a banner that says Old Hollywood. All you have to do is click on that banner and it'll take you right to our events page. And we certainly hope that you will come out to enjoy this affair with us.
And I tell you what, thank you so much. Number one, for taking time out of your day. Number two, to walk through, the amazing moving parts that you have going on, and just walking in your purpose. So we definitely thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, like I always say, if this is the first time you've even connected with our folks, don't let it be the last. Let's make sure to stay connected, stay encouraged, things along those lines. And I tell you what, this is Andrew Snorton, and we're looking forward to the next time we're able to do one of these great things. All of you have a great day, a great week, and we're going to look forward to seeing you real soon. Take good care.
Thank you.
Make sure to get your copy of My Journey to Styletainment, A Life Stitched Together, as well as the second edition, My Journey to Styletainment, the show. Both are available on myjourneytostyletainment.com, and both are written by the extraordinary Missouri. And please make sure to mark your calendars for December 11th, the Old Hollywood Gala. We will see you there. Take care.